Hello guys, it's me Mercy and welcome to Beansmore Productions, and I got another video for you guys. Since 2024 is ending, I will do another top 5 video, and it will be the top 5 One Piece episodes of 2024. This was another great year for One Piece in regards to the anime. We have the start of the Egghead arc with a new style but the same high quality as the Wano arc. There were a really good number of episodes that really stood out to me, and I will talk about them. Before we start with the list, remember that this is my top 5 One Piece episodes of 2024. It is definitely based on my personal opinion. But if you have an episode that you like that I didn't talk about in this video, you can put it in the comments down below. Also, do not forget to leave a like in this video, subscribe to my channel for more, and press the bell for notifications when my videos comes out. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 5. Episode 1101, Luffy vs. Lucci Part 2. This episode was directed and storyboarded by Wataru Matsumi, and it covers the continuation of the fight between Gear 5 Luffy and Awakened Lucci. The highlights of this episode are all clearly related to Luffy and Lucci. First of all, Luffy is continuing making Lucci look like a and make him have a hard time. He turned giant and used his big ass head to try to eat Lucci. But the craziest part for me was when he pulls Goggles out of freaking nowhere and gives Lucci a dawn rocket that basically defeated Lucci. No point there. We also see Lucci having PTSD as he sees Luffy flying towards him. Gear 5 is too wacky and I love it. The animation was incredible throughout, with many great works from John Setu, Naotoshi Shida, and Vincent Chansard. This episode was super entertaining to watch, and that's why it is my number 5. Number 4. Episode 1089, the start of the Egghead arc. This episode is directed and storyboarded by Nozomu Shishiro. This episode marks the change of art style from the Wano arc, now having light saturation and interesting purplish lines that you can notice in certain shots. It can turn some people off, but honestly, I got used to it. This episode covers the total destruction of the Lelouch Kingdom and the Straw Hats encountering Jewel Bunny. The former was handled spectacularly well, with a new soundtrack that really fits the intimidating and terrifying atmosphere of the scene, as Imo uses a weapon that completely obliterates the kingdom of Lucia into dust. This episode also marks the final performance of Toru Furuya as Sabo due to a controversy related to affairs which basically ended his career. 1089 was such a great way to start the Egghead arc, and that is why it's my number 4. Number 3. Episode 1122, Coby's Honesty Impact. Directed and storyboarded by Yasunori Koyama, who also worked on episodes 1028 and 1075. This is the last episode of 2024, and was an amazing way to end the series before the 6-month break. This episode covers the last part of the Hashinosu incident, with Avalo Pizarro's plans to destroy the escaped marine ship being thwarted by Coby's Honesty Impact, and Garp being left behind to save the new young generation of Marines. Bro, Koyama is one of the best directors and storyboarders of all One Piece. His work is truly godlike, with many visuals looking so poetic, with great use of colors and different styles. He sets the emotional aspects of each episode he's part of pretty well. The animation was pretty great too, with the legendary Akihiro Ota animating the Honesty Impact with his indistinguishable style. That's why it is my number 3. Number 2, Episode 1100, Luffy vs. Lucci Part 1. This episode was directed and storyboarded once again by Nozomu Shishiro. This episode covers the start of the rematch between Luffy and Lucci. Throughout the fight, Luffy unleashes Gear 5th, and Luffy reveals his awakened form. And even awakened, Luffy was just too much for him, to the point that Luffy speed split his ass so hard that dude didn't notice Luffy was already in front of him. Also, Luffy throws Lucci by slapping his own ass to get his attention and dodging his attacks while the bro briefly falls asleep. This episode also covered Vegapunk's speech about the origins of devil fruits and the Straws finding out that Luffy is a sun god nigga. This episode was great from start to end, with animation highlights by Akihiro Ota. I will never forget the moment when the battle started. The animation went from good to amazing in 1 second as Luffy flies towards Lucci. I was astonished seeing that, so this episode gets a thumbs up for me, and that's why it is my number 2. Before we get to number 1, here are my honorable mentions. Episode 1109, Luffy, Zoro, Lucci, and Kaku vs. S-Hawk and S-Bear, plus the setup of Shan vs. Kid. Episode 1114, Garb's Galaxy Impact and the setup of Garb vs. Kusan. Episode 1115, Garb vs. Kusan Part 1 and the defeat of Law against Blackbeard. Episode 1119, Imu speaks for the first time and Cobra's dead. And episode 1121, the continuation of Garb vs. Kusan. Number 1, Episode 1112, Shanks vs. Kid and Shanks' Divine Departure. Directed and storyboarded by Wataru Matsumi once again. This episode covers the encounter between Shanks and Kid, which ends in Shanks one-shotting Kid and Killer with Roger's Divine Departure technique and the complete destruction of the Victoria Punk ship by the hands of Dory and Brogy. 1112 is my favorite episode of 2024, not only because of the visuals, but because of the content. I love chapter 1079 so much. Seeing Shanks show his insane power by obliterating Kid like a bug. Shanks used Future Sight to see 10 seconds into the freaking future, the longest we've seen an observation hack he usually uses, and he literally leaped into Kid's ship and gave this bomb a sweet divine departure to his face. Kid should not have targeted Shanks' fleet. He should have just gone for him instead, because that was his biggest mistake. The anime did this chapter justice with incredible animation by Akihiro Ota and John Setu. They made Shanks look more badass than he already is. But one of my favorite parts is seeing Kid hallucinate that he defeated Shanks before reality sunk in, a moment that was not in the manga but elevated the episode so much. And that is why it is my favorite One Piece episode of 2024. And this was my top 5 One Piece episode of 2024. It was such a fun list to do, but I wanna know, did you guys enjoy the video? Do you like it? What is your top 5 One Piece episodes of 2024? Comments down below and let me know. Thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to leave a like in it and subscribe to my channel for more One Piece content. This was Mercy from Beansprout Productions, and I see you guys in the next video. Au revoir.